Hello and welcome, my friends, to the official Top 10. There are many Top 10 lists out there on the internets, but there is only one true official Top 10. The official Top 10 does not diminish the value of all the other Top 10 lists. People's opinions are very valuable, but Lord Gameson is mighty, and when I put pen to the paper, the heavens open and thunder sweeps across the dimensions. The officialness of it all cannot be denied. Sometimes I wish my opinions were normal, but the side effect of being Lord Gameson is extreme officialness. I have turned my attention today to the Sega Genesis. What are the official best games for the Sega Genesis? Let's get on with the show. Number 10. Zombies Ate My Neighbors. You see, this entry poses a bit of a problem. Zombies Ate My Neighbors was also in the top 10 Super Nintendo games list that I did last week. The top 10, and that was the top 10 right before this one. Lord Gamerson will cover all the major and a few of the minor consoles, and the best game on one system will most likely be the best game on another system. This would get much more apparent with the PlayStation 2 generation moving forward. There are exceptions, of course, such as if a game has the same name but a different game on a different system. Think like Beavis and Butthead on the Genesis and the Super Nintendo. But those games would never get confused as a top 10 game, but you know what I mean. So I think what I will do in the future is I will split it up. For example, PS2, the original Xbox, and the GameCube have many of the same games. There should be a top 10 list for the shared exclusives, as well as a top 10 list for console exclusives. Grand Theft Auto would make it to the top 3 for PS3, Xbox 360, shared exclusives, but would not rank in each individual system's top 10 because it would be in both, and I would just be saying the same thing twice. Kinda boring. That being said, Grand Theft Auto 5 could also be ranked in the PS4, Xbox One shared exclusive list because of the additions made to the game. They were enough to make it a fresh experience. Zombies Ate My Neighbors is a great game. Check it out. Also check out the official top 10 Super NES games for more of a description. Number 9. Phantasy Star 4. The Genesis didn't have the quality RPG selection that the Super Nintendo did, but there were some good ones. Phantasy Star 4 is the best RPG on the Sega Genesis. It is now official. This is the final game in the series and shouldn't be played on its own. Phantasy Star 1 and 3 are not required playing for this one, but Phantasy Star 2 definitely is. So play, or at least familiarize yourself with the second game before playing number 4. Phantasy Star 4 concludes the Al Gold Star System saga and does so in spectacular fashion. Phantasy Star is a typical 90s RPG with its engrossing story, turn-based battles, overhead exploration, and grinding. Each character has their own stats and equipment. Phantasy Star 4 now lets you combo different techniques, which is really cool, and a big boost to the gameplay. The art in this game is great. The manga-esque imagery has been crafted by true masters of the craft. The music is some of the best on the system. It's catchy and effectively conveys the intended mood. That is saying something, because a game's music is usually not a selling point for a Genesis title. This game is a very mighty RPG adventure, and it knew it. When it was released, it commanded a mighty price tag of almost $100 US. Number 8. Gunstar Heroes. Gunstar Heroes is a run-and-gun masterpiece. You see, one day back in the 80s, Disney hooked up with Konami's Contra. They went on a few dates, got really drunk, and had a drunk baby. This drunk baby grew into a drunk child and was known as Gunstar. Armed with a 260 IQ and a bottle of tequila, Gunstar dazzled the world with its lightning-fast gameplay, silky smooth animations, and overall fun factor. This game drips with personality and charm. The boss battles are easily some of the best in the genre. Don't expect a nice, easy ride. This is like going straight down a mountain on a Jeep. Just like Daddy Contra, this game is hard. Very, very hard. You play as the Gunstar twins, mighty heroes of the universe. You must defeat the evil Colonel Red. The evil Colonel Red has stolen the mystical power gems, and we want those gems for ourselves, for ultimate power. Gunstar Heroes was developed by Treasure. This is a company known for its excellent 2D shooters, and Gunstar Heroes is widely considered to be one of their best. Number 7. Earthworm Gym. Oh boy, Earthworm Gym. Earthworm Gym takes the best of the truly bizarre sensibilities of the 1990s and packages it all up in a nice little video game. Take the bosses, for example. The bosses are wonderfully bizarre. The final boss in this game is a character called the Evil Queen, pulsating, bloated, festering, sweaty, pus-filled, malformed slug for a butt. Then there's Bob the Goldfish, Evil the Cat, or Professor Monkey for a head. These characters are so awesome. The art looks like a surrealist masterpiece. So cool. The music is great, but that's what I would expect from video game music god Tommy Tallarico. The stages are very interesting in their design. On the rare occasion, the design isn't good, but it's still saved by the sheer imagination behind it. This is a game where style wins over substance. However, the style is near perfect and the substance is almost great. Earthworm Jim is the coolest animated worm ever designed. Number 6. Mickey Mouse in the Castle of Illusion. The 16-bit Disney games were overall really something very special. There's 2 of them on this list. The first one hitting that sweet 6th spot, Mickey Mouse in the Castle of Illusion. It was a tough decision between this and World of Illusion, but Castle of Illusion just seems a little tighter, just a little better. The art is quite nice for an early Genesis title, and the gameplay is spot on. Castle of Illusion always feels fresh. It doesn't repeat itself. This game is a very tight experience. This is helped by the fantastic animations. You can tell the characters have more animation than your typical game from that time. You have 5 worlds to explore, such as the Enchanted Forest, and a whole world in a bottle of milk. This was when Disney truly cared about their properties being in the best games. Back then, Disney understood a very simple truth. If you make the best product, people will notice and spend their money accordingly. Number 5. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Hyperstone Heist. Turtles in Time is one of the best games on the Super Nintendo, thanks to the official top 10 that has now been etched into stone, a permanent judgment. Now I, the mighty Lord Gamerson, have etched a new line into the official stone. The Hyperstone Heist is officially one of the best games on the Sega Genesis. This game is similar to Turtles in Time. Konami used the same assets, but they did change quite a bit. In Turtles in Time, Krang steals the Statue of Liberty, but in the Hyperstone Heist, Krang steals all of Manhattan, including the Statue of Liberty. This could be described as a Turtles in Time remix, I suppose. The sound is better in the Super Nintendo version, but that's pretty much standard. The Super Nintendo games usually do sound better. The graphics are a bit better in the Hyperstone Heist, though. There's no time travel in this game, so the story is actually very different. It really is a reimagining of the arcade game and does a great job at giving you the same gameplay experience while also giving you a new, fresh experience. If you want an excellent port, play the Super Nintendo version. If you want something similar, but fresh, play the Genesis version. Number 4. Aladdin. Aladdin is such a great platformer on the Sega Genesis. When the movie came out, it was celebrated for its excellence. This game was also celebrated for its excellence. The animations and gameplay flow brilliantly. They had Disney animators working on this game. This was the kind of animations the early Prince of Persia games wished they had. It just looks so good. This game sold gangbusters on the system. The graphics are some of the best on the Genesis. The level design is fun and engaging. This game is more combat focused than its Super Nintendo brother. In the Super Nintendo version, you don't get a scimitar for attacking, you just get them apples. But in this version, there's more of a focus on platforming, which is less emphasized on the Genesis version. The Super NES version is actually a different game altogether. It's cool they made two games instead of just porting it over. Number 3. Streets of Rage 2. When life gets you down and you've got nowhere to go, it's time to go for a little walk. A walk down to the streets of rage. It's time to eat food out of garbage cans. It's time to punch people till your knuckles bleed. It's time to make use of baseball bats for something other than hitting home runs. It's time to play the Streets of Rage. Streets of Rage 2 is all about kicking ass and chewing bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum. Mr. X is back. From being defeated in the first game, he's back and he's stronger than ever, according to him anyway. Your good pal Adam Hunter has been kidnapped, and you've got to get him back. The basic concept of a beat-em-up applies here. Fight a lot of enemies and get to the end of the stage and fight a boss. Each character has a unique move on top of the extreme punch-punch-throw action for maximum awesomeness. There's even a duel mode, which lets two people fight each other in a safe and deadly environment. Everything feels great in this game. The sprites are all just the right size. The control is tight. The animation is detailed and fluid, and the soundtrack rocks. Number 2. Castlevania Bloodlines. Castlevania in these early days were mainly associated with Nintendo. It was quite the surprise when this title dropped on store shelves. Castlevania on the Genesis? It was a brave new world, my friends, a brave new world indeed. Castlevania Bloodlines is one of the very best Castlevania games, hands down. Castlevania is a gothic action horror adventure series where you play a member of the Dracula hunting Belmont clan, and your mission is to take down Dracula. This game has a bit of a different feel than Super Castlevania on the Super NES. It controls and plays like the NES games with more fluid animations. Artistically, this game does try new things like changing the view dimensions in horizontal strips, or just in how they rotate the camera and use scaling effects. You get two characters to play as, and they both have different play styles, so that gives the game a good element of replayability. Each character has their own paths through many of the levels, so that adds to the desire to play the game twice. Why not play it 100 times even? It's the second best game on the Genesis. Number 1. Sonic 2. I think we all saw this one coming. The best Sega Genesis game is Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Of course it's Sonic 2. Sonic 2 is a masterpiece platformer to be held in the highest regard. The other Sonic games deserved to be on this list also, but there's a reason for the one per franchise rule. If it feels better to you, just consider all the Genesis Sonic games bundled together in this number 1 spot. I do. Sonic 2 is an extreme gaming at its best. This game is furiously fast and fun. The levels are just so well designed. The bosses are quite a bit better than the first game even. Robotnik takes it up a notch or two here. Sonic's iconic little buddy Tails is introduced in this game. He can be pretty useful from time to time, except in special stages where you just have to tell him to get out. Sonic 2 is so full of blast processing, it's about to pop, and I don't want to be around to clean up that mess. You can even become supersonic, giving you more speed and near invulnerability. The levels have multiple paths to take, so you can play the same stage multiple times and still get a fresh experience. Sonic 2 is a masterpiece title. It's officially the best Sega Genesis game. Thank you, my friends. The official best Sega Genesis game has now been determined. You can now discuss how correct this list is and bask in its officialness.